Got it. Okay. Thank you again, Richard. Thank you for having us. Beautiful
you,
home,
Richard.
obviously beautiful home. Just all goodness. And Shri Krishna sitting here in front.
And I'm feeling blessed.
का नाम आ गया तो Richa Didi ki she reminded that we had stopped somewhere in the second chapter, so we should just start that continuity. Otherwise, we move past. Then 14th अध्याय में चल रहा है 14th. Different chapters going at different places. Marathi, we were in the middle of the 8th chapter. This morning we had one session for India. In the other Saturday, we are in the 7th chapter. And then in the Gainesville one, we are in the 14th chapter when we pick up next time. And then here we'll start again in the second chapter. The other thing is that's good, Sanjeev bhai, I'm glad you're here. Maybe we'll try to do most of this in English regardless, because when we were doing the English, we were in the second chapter, and so we will pick that up anayasi. So because I don't know the exact shlok, do saal ho gaye to inne mark karke nahi rakha tha, but I think you and I agreed that we were toward the end of it. So the best part, I mean, not the best part, but really the most powerful part, second chapter ka starts with the question Arjuna asked in 54th shlok. So koi logon ke opinion mein this is a sar of Gita, that from the portion from 55th shlok to the 72nd. Second and the 18th chapter are the biggest chapters, 72 verses. So second mein, तो 55 से लेके 72 तक जो 17 वर्सेस है, वो कहते थे कि वो तो इसमें सारी गीता आ गई, इसके आगे गीता कहने की जरूरत ही नहीं थी. In fact, Gandhi ji himself had said one time, so this is it, from 55 to 72, second chapter, this is all of Gita. One thing to say, another to do, because खाली कहने सुनने से काम नहीं बनता है, इसलिए I think obviously कह तो दिया था जो है जैसे साफ, because it was not enough for neither for Arjun nor for us, then the third and the fourth and the fifth, because the manifestation of it, the implementation of it had to come up. And so it continued on until the 18th chapter. But it does tie the most complicated knot right here in this portion. So just to set some background, because we're picking up after 2 years. कोई गांठ नहीं खुल रही हो, जैसे पजामे की कभी तो जल्दी बाथरूम में जाना, पजामे की गांठ ही नहीं खुल रही है, तो पता चला एक गांठ अड़ी हुई थी जो मेन बड़ी दिखती नहीं, कैसे करे कैसे खुले. सो जो मेन गांठ खुलनी है, बाकी तो खुल जाती है, लेकिन मेन गांठ नहीं खुलती है. तो किसी भी चीज को बांध के रखा हो, कोई पैकेज हो, जो मेन गांठ ना खोले जब तक, तब तक ऊपर की गांठ कितनी भी खुले, ऊपर से shallow. No matter how much charity we give, no matter how much sweet talk we do, no matter how much can try to do mind control, or we are doing exercise, we are doing this and that, ये सब ठीक है, लेकिन जब तक मेन गांठ न खुले तब तक फिर से वो पैक्ट बंद ही है. Nothing doing. I can't go to the bathroom. Cannot release. Cannot feel the relief. Main gut must open. Isliye, when we tie the knot, it's also to be careful that main gut should be tied carefully. If we must tie the knot, it should be tied carefully, not in a hurry, because it'll come back to haunt. उस समय 1-2 सेकंड लेके ध्यान देके नहीं बांधी, पैकेज भी हो, थैली भी हो, तो आगे चल के 2 घंटे लगे फिर भी नहीं, काट देनी पड़ेगी. तो ये जो मेन गांठ पड़ी है, the big deal about this portion of the second chapter, why some people like Gandhi and other saints have also said this, not just Gandhi ji, is because this is what she's like really cuts that right at the first main knot. And so much so that this is isn't just my word, the word that the Lord uses, and he opens his mouth to talk about this, is prajahati, like cutting asunder, ukhad ke feekna, completely cutting it out. In Sanskrit, it's a very powerful word. Prajahati. That's the first word in this 55th shlok. Ha is dying, hanan karna. Hatova, hatya, hanan karna. हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गम जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महिम. इसमें श्लोक आता है कि तुम मरेगा तो स्वर्ग मिलेगा, जिएगा तो राज्य मिलेगा. और ज इज उसकी उल्टा जन्मवाचक है. जन्माद्यस्य पहला शब्द आता है भागवत में, श्रीमद् भागवत में 18,000 श्लोकों के पहले इसका पहला द बॉर्न. सो देयर ऑपोजिट ऑफ ईच अदर. जहाति और प्र, you've now learned many times, is focusing, concentrating. जैसे सनलाइट इधर उधर है, अभी सनशाइन है, लेकिन इसको अगर कॉन्सेंट्रेट किया मैग्नीफाइंग लेंस लेके, it can burn paper or what have you. जिसको प्रकाश कहते हैं. आकाश में प्रकाश, आकाश is just sunlight floating around. Prakash would be like a beam, like a ray of light. So prajahati, whatever is born, completely concentratedly killing it. जैसे weed killer डालते हैं हम लोग. That is the analogy, right? Like it just there's no chance for it, root से हो गया. So killing what? Killing whom? Prajahati yada kaman, kamana, desires. When the desires are completely not only uprooted, but there is no chance of those coming again. Yes, right. And where? Manogatan, mind. No? That's the field of the seeds where desires are planted. That field is the mind itself. Not in
Nirvasana type.
Yeah. Right. Not the brain, not the body. The body doesn't have any desire. So we think it does, it doesn't. And the brain doesn't have any desire. It has needs. Body has needs and needs, but needs are not the same as desires. Needs we must fulfill. In fact, in the Gita, Krishna himself says in the 6th chapter, don't ignore your needs. Don't stop the need because you are torturing me. अगर needs को बंद कर दिया, खाना पीना बंद कर दिया, सोना बंद कर दिया, ऐसे ही सीधा चलना है तो उल्टे उलट टंग गए, तो why are you torturing me? Krishna says directly in the Gita. No need for that. Needs fulfill karo, lekin desires, which are obviously very different from needs also, those are always and only in the mind. So anyway, so with this back, where does this come from? Because Arjuna asks the question in the 54th shlok, Sthita Pragyasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthita kim prabhashet kim aset vrajet kim. I'm liking this. It's just sitting in front of me. It's my main audience. This is perfect.
Inspiration milta rahega.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just I'm humbled. This is a new experience for me, actually. First time that I'm just directly talking to him, his own words. Take it now. Take your own medicine, Prabhu. This is funny and so beautiful, so lovely. This is very sweet. Maybe towards the end, I can give darshan to those who are on this also. So, which is why my mind, इधर मैं बात तो कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन मेरा मन उधर जा रहा है बार बार इसलिए.
ये मूर्ति बहुत सुंदर है.
Yeah.
रहने का मन करता है.
So, Arjun ने पूछा था कि, okay, well, everything that you're describing, what's that person like? Sthita Pragyasya ka bhasha mein. Someone who is securely lodged, established, stable-minded, even-keeled, all of that. What's the person like? So mind you, Arjun hasn't said, and Krishna hasn't said, what's that man like? Or what's that, the person, it's a neutral gender. It could be man or a woman. Sthita Pragya, the one who is established. It could be a man, it could be a woman. Translation sometimes brings a bias in it by saying, oh Purush, ye Purush, wo Purush. Gita doesn't. Krishna actually does use the word Purush in the Gita, but that's when he's talking about him very directly. In fact, today in Marathi, when we had the 8th chapter, and there are several places in the Gita when the Purush word comes, but that's when directly God is being addressed. Seekers, sadhaks, that word is never used because it's not only that. In the 9th chapter, it openly says towards the end of the 9th chapter, Brahman ho, Rajarshi ho, Striya ho, Vaishya ho, Shudra ho, sab ke liye. Striya, Vaishya, tata Shudra. Brahman, Rajarshi, sabhi ke liye hai kula karke. So just to clarify, otherwise sometimes translation can distort it. So Arjuna asks you, so what's that person like? How does the person speak? Bhasha, Prajaha, Sthita Pragyasya ka, Sanskrit is how, what do they say, Bhasha. Asthitadim kim prabhashet vrajet kim. Vraj is a chalna. Vraj bhumi mein jate hai, if we go to Vraj, it's for nomads. Nomadic, Vraj Vasi were nomads. They keep walking around the Govardhan temple. उनके गाये भैंसे बकरी सब shepherds लोग थे, they would go up and down and around. इसीलिए कभी वृंदावन में, कभी गोकुल में, कभी कहीं, and there's so many villages there, right, around. Because they go from one place to the other, wherever the wind blows, and it was a carefree life. Their needs were met. So it comes from Vraj. When we go to Vraj, we walk from one place to the other also. That's an original Sanskrit word, which means walking. Walking about, walking around, constantly walking, they say. So Vrajet Kim, Sthita Pragya Sikha Bhasha, Samadhistasya Keshava. How does that person समाधि कैसे लगती है? समाधि में वो बैठ के खड्डे में 72 आवर्स वाली समाधि नहीं, सहज समाधि है ना, सहज समाधि भली, in the sense that akana mundu kanana rundu, that person, the casual, the very nonchalant samadhi, in which there is no longer the need to shut your eyes, close your eyes with the resolutely, kanana rundu, go to a quiet place, find a quiet time, your कान को plug कर दे, इसकी भी जरूरत नहीं. Kaya kashta na dehu. No need to torture the body, sit up straight, don't do this, don't do that, nothing like it. Khuli aankh mein hasa hasa dekho, sundara rupa niharu. However, wherever, whenever, whatever, that may I never be without your sweet darshan. That sahaj avastha is samadhi. I should remind you, I know you know this because I've said this a few times. Sahaj, the word is said so. Sahajta se kehte hain, sahaj. It is one of the most profound words, sahaj, right? Again, ja is janmavachak, the one who's born. Aja is the unborn. Or sah is with. So sah, aja is with the unborn, meaning with the Lord. Sahaj is always with the Lord. Sahajta se. Isliye anything that is sahaj is very beautiful. Sahaj swabhav, sahaj vani, sahaj jivan, sada jivan, sahaj pehrav, anayas khidya. It's always beautiful and without exception, right? Because that is with the source. Aja is the source, the Lord of love. So the point of that is, हमारी सहज अवस्था जो है, उसमें भगवान हमारे साथ है, फिर उसमें चिंता कैसे हो, क्यों हो? ये ज्ञान अगर पक्का हो जाए, like untying that the root of that original knot that God, that I am alone, I am this small person, I am by myself, I have to make this work, I have to figure this out, I have to bring this together, I have to hold it together, I cannot let this fall apart, this or that. If I am in my sahaj avastha, whenever, anytime I am in my sahaj avastha, I am carefree, worry-free, stress-free, right? How so? Chah gai, I know your favorite. Chah gai, chinta miti, manwa beparwa. I know you heard this also. Jinko kachu na chahiye, wo shahan ke shah. ये बने, ये शाह बने, वो पाटिल बने, पटेल बने, शहनशाह बन जा भैया. फिर से सुन ले. चाह गई चिंता मिटी, मनवा बेपरवाह, जिनको कछु न चाहिए वो शाहन के शाह. I'm the king of kings, for I need nothing, I seek nothing. ना? वो अवस्था प्राप्त है. That's the good news. The bad news is we have forgotten. But the good news is far better than the bad news. ना? Because the nitya prapta hai, that is the huge news. Even if today, on this great, wonderful day, ye agar pakka ho gaya ki we have it. I know I'm not experiencing it. I know I don't feel like it. It feels very different. But if we can solidify, anchor around it, if we can just confirm in our mind, validate it. No, I am with him. He is with me. If he's saying it, no worries then. I will not sink. I will float. No? So, Sahaj avastha mein. And so Arjun is asking that. So these are simple words, but look how deep those meanings are. Okay, what is that Sahaj avastha like? Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. Sthitadim kim prabhasheta kim asita ki urajeta kim. How did that person sit, stand, walk, all that? In other words, very natural. What happened? So if you look at the nuances, all designations that Arjuna is using as a physical form. How does he or she, the person, talk, walk, sit, situate, all that, as if everything that Krishna was describing until now had much to do with the physical form. Now we know it does not. This isn't about the physical form. But this is introductory. Arjuna is just is intrigued, is starting to listen. He's stuck in the physical form. That's the first knot that I talked about originally, the complicated knot that wouldn't untie, stuck in the rut, stuck in the physical form. This Bhishma is my physical grandfather, the form that I see. And the Drone is the physical form, is my guru. And then this and that. Completely stuck. And then I am this physical form. And this kingdom, that's physical also. You, by the way, Krishna, are physical also. Physical, body, body, body. And he's using names and he's using forms. So Vruddha hai, that's an old form, and Drona hai. So he's using names and forms. So name and form, physical, stuck in it, and see how it manifests. See how it shows up. It shows up in us. All the knowledge of the world, all the Solomon's gold would be worthless if it did not show up in our behavior. The ultimate, then the only test, not God's test, our own test. God's not testing our behavior. If it doesn't show up in the behavior, what good is it? It might as well not be, right? Honestly.
Not true.
Yeah, and then it's just meaningless. So it hasn't showed up in the behavior yet because he's not even paying attention yet. Still stuck. Even his questions are steeped, immersed in the physical form. Every word is indicative of his mind being stuck in the physical form. And so thinking as if, the person is going to sit differently, walk differently, and all that. And so interestingly, the response is at a completely different realm. This is the 55th verse, which is the one that I recited previously. Prajahati yada kaman. He starts to answer it. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atmannevatmana tushta sthita prajnasta dochate. The moment, yada is when, at that time, now you know ha is dead, killing. Ja is that which is born. When that which is born is completely killed, pra is concentratedly, resolutely, at which point in the mind, what the desire, seeds of desires, like you were saying, when they're fried or when they're roasted, any seeds, if they are roasted, then if you plant them, then nothing comes out of it.
Right.
The DNA has been burned within it. And the DNA has been energized, has been released, activate ho gaya. The heat energy has transformed. Uska kaam ban gaya, chut gaya, no longer desiring. This is true. This is fundamental sciences, fundamental chemistry, fundamental biology. That heat activates, heat energizes, and anyone and anything that activates and energizes wants to release.
One thing, Gitayog, which I wanted to say, whatever is truth is there in the Gita. Actually, nature and this world is projecting it through the example all the time. For example, if this is the theory that if it is we will be desireless, we will reach salvation. So there is an example in the real world that a seed, if it is fried, the DNA will be killed and then it will no longer produce the fruit. So the cycle has been broken.
Yeah.
And the same way, like if somebody asks what is the color of the sky, basically the color of the sky is nothing. It's a different color depending on the projection. And the same way, if this resembles the truth that the world we see, it's not real.
Yeah.
It's a projection of our mind, and different mind of this same world. If it is projected by a blind person, it's a completely different world.
Mm-hmm.
It's projected by me, an ordinary person. It's the contrast.
Yeah.
If it is projected by an enlightened person, it will be a completely different world.
Yeah.
So the truth is given
All
by
around us.
all around us. It's just we are not catching it.
Yeah.
But it's like as soon as when I started learning a new language, let's say when my daughter started learning ABCD, as soon as she saw the stop sign, she recognized that it's stop. Earlier also she used to see the stop, but at that time she doesn't know the alphabets. So she passed by that sign so many times she didn't recognize. Just example I'm saying.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Very
So
nice.
the more we are getting mature, the more we are catching it.
Yeah.
And God is trying to give us all the time, 24/7. It is in front of us.
Yeah.
It is we who forgotten and
Yeah.
engaged ourselves in useless activity, basically.
Yeah, we're stuck. No, we're just stuck in that within that band of the wavelength, that frequency. We're not. And so the whole thing is about getting unstuck. Essentially, if we can get unstuck, then we're free. And there's nothing that is actually sticking. We've just mentally we've felt. We've agreed. वो पता है ना वो बांधते हैं कुत्तों को बिल्लों को गायों को तो बांधे नहीं फिर भी if they are brought to their stable then they feel like oh I'm stuck here I cannot escape. But they can, but they're just so used to it and then this is a place where I've tried it umpteen times. Jhatka baitha man ko I was not able to. I'm not even going to try. But man, you could have escaped this one time. You were actually unstuck.
Very easily.
Right. And so that proverbially this human birth is that one time that we are actually not stuck in this time. Dogs and cats are stuck because they're pre-programmed and they're provided for. Here we are not stuck. We're not bound. We can escape. It's just mental concoction thinking that I am at the mercy of anything, all that.
So I think one thing that I believe it was Richa who was talking, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, because I think that word, she said remembering, and I think you mentioned that before also, that at the end, it's not knowledge, new knowledge. I think what Arjun says is now I remember.
That's right.
When he gets the knowledge. So it's more about remembering. So that the truth is out there already.
Yeah.
So, but it's about remembering. So I think when she said that kind of reminded me. So.
And what a huge relief that is as I was saying, that it's already there. And in Bolana, there's the good news is we already have it. The bad news is we have forgotten.
But that makes us restless.
Yeah. But look at how bad would it have been if it didn't even exist? If we didn't have it, then it was impossible.
Yeah.
The great news is, would you agree, Madhi? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing that it's already here because which we already choose, if you wanted to gain something else in the world, you have to work extremely hard for it, right? You have to, in order to gain that, whether it's a child, whether it's a work or a degree or a house, you have to work hard to gain it, right?
Yeah.
But what this is just suggesting is that it's a choice. You just have to remember and apply, right?
Yeah.
So that's a relief because that there's not too much work except for internally trying to do it, like mentally, the gyrations around that.
It's all in our home. We just have to know. It's not, imagine the snowfall hua hai. COVID pandemic भी चल रहा है बहुत 8 feet snow है all that how are you
toilet paper
लेकिन घर में toilet paper भरे हैं सब grocery है सब है electricity everything है generator है battery है everything is so then what a relief my God it's all snowed out and it's all but I've got everything in there. It's a matter of time. I'm good. I'm safe. I'm fine. I'm going to make it whenever I need one. ऐसी बात है. We've got it. We just have to dab it in. By the way, I'm loving this format. So Sanjeev bhai, the next time when we meet at your home, I think let's open this up like this, where instead of Meri Railgadi Chalne, we just take pauses, stop, comment. I think this is a lot more. Madhvi, it has taken her years to program my mind to try this. So we'll do this, definitely. It's hard on Zoom a little bit, but in person, it's so much easier.
Actually, I used to fall asleep. Because the thing is that you are tired, but when you are in front of me, I'm more alert, It's like living Gita, And then when I'm doing in a Zoom, then I'm doing multiple things also.
Yeah.
Because folding the laundry. Okay, let's do something. And then eventually you are distracted.
Yeah.
Here, more focused.
Yeah, exactly. This morning when we were talking about Mother, you'll remember this, that this isn't about you. Well, I mean, it's perfect in Marathi because the words are just so accurately there that what are you focused on? It's not that he is there. He's not in your mind. What is your mind? Is your mind on me? Right at the last moment, it's not enough to know that, oh, I know God, I've done this, that. At this moment, what's your mind on? What do you think? It isn't, right? Like,
Yeah, and June में होता था कि even if let's say I fall asleep, मैं सो गई, तो स्थिति अच्छा कोई बात नहीं, सो गई तो क्या हुआ, भैया तो रिकॉर्डिंग भेजेंगे ना, मैं सुन लूंगी. पर कभी दोबारा जाके कोई नहीं सुनता है क्योंकि इतना नहीं है. लेकिन यहाँ पे क्या है कि इन पर्सन है, जो डाउट है अभी पूछो, अभी आंसर मिलेगा और अभी उसको अप्लाई करो, and then it will retain in your consciousness also for a longer time.
Yeah, like Kabir ji said, kal kare, so aaj wali baat hai na, aaj kare so ab, pal mein paralay hoegi, bahuri karega sab. Before you even know it, we will have to take leave. Just this morning I was reading from Kathopanishad. It's a conversation between Yamaraj, the king of death, and Nachiketa. And it's usme jo aata hai, uttishta jagrata prapya varanya nibodhata. Yamaraj says ki this, they're like a razor, like a razor edge. This path is treacherous. You can slip on this side or that side. So you have to be very attentive, you have to concentrate and be attentive if you want to walk on that path. He's not saying that it's deadly and you'll die or anything, but it's so narrow, essentially, that there's every chance that you'll either fall to the left or to the right because it's so narrow. But if you concentrate on it, he says, and Nachiketa, you must, because I've given it to you now. The secret that of the Tattvamasi, you have to understand this, comprehend that how is it that I am that Yamaraj is saying. And so I think all of us are saying that. Plus, let's Sangat, we help each other, right? In the company, that's other.
जो सत्संग होता है ना, जो हमसे नहीं हो सकता.
Right.
Online नहीं हो सकता.
Yeah, we make do, right? So we'll alternate. Fortunately, both are in Aldi. I think Sanjeev Bhai doesn't live very far from here also, so we could do once a month here, once a month at their place, and then alternate Zoom so that those who are in other areas can benefit from it also. But it's a good format. And so that was Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan. Those concocted notions, ideas born in the mind when they're completely uprooted. Atman Neva Atmana Tushta Sthita Pradnyasta Dochati. So the very first sign, Arjun, is that the person is very contained and very satisfied, very happy, very much situated, dube hue in the self, not selfish, selflessly, but only about the self. No? So Atmani, it's to decode the Sanskrit there, Atmani eva Atmana tushta. Eva is alone. When that person is tushta, is satiated in Atma alone, then there is no question of desires that I want this, I want that, because then there's the realization that I am one with all and therefore I have it all. My needs are being fulfilled anyways, as they are. Sthita pradnya tad uchyate. Uchyate is called, that person is. So he's asking all about physical forms and he's saying nothing about the physical form. The next shlok is also beautiful, very practically applicable. Dukkheshu anudvigna manaha sukheshu vigata spraha vita raga bhaya krodha sthita dhirmani ruchyate. One of my favorite, because it is so lucid to bring into practice. Not easy, but with clarity we can understand what he's saying, because we experience this every day. Dukkheshu, in moments of grief, misery, anxiety, in any negative circumstance, anudvigna manaha, one whose mind is rising above. Agna is heat, right? Agni jaise hoti hai. So the one who gets, in other words, agitated. Udvigna, veg is speed. So udvigna is an interesting word. Like it's got three ideas in one. Ud is rising, veg is speed, and agna is heat. So imagine the friction. And this is our mind, right? that up and down and up and down, it very quickly, very rapidly we lose our temper. We get hot tempered, literally. ना दिमाग गर्म हो जाता है. तो और ऊपर hot tempered, and like our eyes go up and we talk, our volume goes up, our arms go up very quickly. The whole body, the mind, the intellect, our vocabulary goes up. We quickly search for more profound, more impactful words. Badi badi galiya, everything goes up. The level is different, and hence ud. And it becomes also quickly, hence vague, and it's all just so hot, hence agna. So this is the beauty of Sanskrit and the power of it also. Dukheshu, in moments of dukkha, ana udvigna manaha, neither agitated nor agitated. जिसको वो जो even कील रहे, ऊपर नहीं उठे, वैसे ही language बोले, वैसे ही tone में हो, वैसे ही volume में हो, a tall order to achieve by any standard. खाली बात करने की बात नहीं है, ना मन से, वाणी से और कर्म से. दुखेशु अनुद्विग्न मनः, more importantly, right? Inside, internally, the one who is able to remain stable and steady even in the most negative circumstance. And us with kids, we experience that. Every father and every mother has exactly experienced what Krishna is talking about here. Dukheshu anudvigna mana, sukheshu vigata spruha. Nor the opposite. Sukha ki paristhiti, favorable and unfavorable, right? Nor in favorable circumstances, vigata, we is vishesh, achhi tarah se, properly. Gata is gone. Spruha is this satiate, this desire, the thirst. Spruha is thirst. So no thirst, all thirst for favorable circumstances. Aisa ho jaye, waisa ho jaye, may this happen. I wish this will happen. I hope that happens, or I hope that doesn't happen. Any kind of that thirst is completely gone. Vigata. So dukheshu anudvigna mana, sukheshu vigata spruha. And then the second part, Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. So this is like the first formula in the Gita that comes. There are many triplets that come in the Gita in the form of a formula. I think this might be the first one. Maybe there's another one before this. But here's bringing them all together, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. And then Vita is extinguishing, putting off, bujha dena. Yeah, Rag is the attachment to it, that I don't want to detach from it. In other words, right? That this, my son, my daughter, my circumstance, my job, or my son's grade, or my daughter's health, or my friends, or this, that, anything, or anything else in the mind. Vita Rag of a bhaya, fear of losing. Rag is of getting, and bhaya is of losing. So neither this nor that, neither the desire to obtain or retain, nor the fear of losing it. So obtaining or retention, or krodh, the anger that is born out of if someone takes it away from me, if someone doesn't do as I think it should be. The first impulse is anger. So ये तीन से जो छुटी हुई हो, वीत राग भय क्रोध स्थित अधीर मुनि रुच्यते. Muni is Mananshil, the thinker. जो भी सुना है उस पर जो contemplate करे, ruminate करे, मनन करे, वो Muni. Sthita is established. Dhi is our intellect. So again, these words are not just thrown around, everyone perfectly in its place. Sthita dhi muni uchyate. That thinker then reaches that point where the intellect then securely lodges, firmly anchors, is grounded in a state. The intellect is, and we're able, another, rationalize. The problem, the reason we lose our mind is because we're not able to instantly rationalize. बाद में, थोड़े समय बाद, we're able to rationalize. We go to each other and say, oh, I feel bad about this. I should not have said this. Should not have done that. What happened? Because the rational faculty was able to reason it. And that's the इसीलिए बुध,
गायत्री मंत्र में बहुत बार यूज हुआ है।
या धियो यो न प्रचोदयात, ना? और बुद्धि, बुद्ध, बोध is प्रकाश, enlightened. Buddhi is the dhi जिसमें प्रकाश है, the dhi that can see.
धीरज भी वहीं से हुआ है।
Dhi, yeah. Raj, in shaky situation. So this, I mean, well, when we get to 14th chapter, Rajas is shaky, wobbly, shiny, all that. And a capricious would be the perfect word in English, right? Capricious, right? Raj is एक जगह एक जैसा नहीं, constantly moving, shaking, this, that. उसमें भी जो स्थित रह सके धी उसकी, even while within the shaky, wobbly, moving, shiny, sparkly background, the one who is able to stay stable. And that quality, that characteristic is धीरज. रजस आता है ना, उसी से आता है रजोगुण जो आता है वो। और जैसे मैंने कहा था,
कितना अच्छा है आप किसी वर्ड को तोड़ के फोनिक्स करके उसका एकदम रूट तक आप पहुंच जाते हैं, लाइक एकदम
इस संस्कृत की चमत्कार है। दिस इज नथिंग शॉर्ट ऑफ अ मिरेकल ना। अर्जुन, अर्जुन, हम कहते अर्जी करना है, अर्जी इज प्लीडिंग, है ना। तो रज इट वुड बी जस्ट छाती ठोके के ऐसा हो जाए वैसा हो जाए अपनी हिम्मत से अपनी, और अरज इज हम्बल। रज इज नॉट हम्बल, रज इज अनहम्बल। राजा, राजा से आता महाराजा तो राज करना है, I rule over this. Or araja is the opposite of that. No, I'm not the ruler, I'm the servant. I'm humility, humble. तो अर्जी करते हैं मतलब झुक के कहते हैं, और उसका नाम अर्जुन है तो राजस्य को राजकुमार है, राजकुमार, रज आ गया उसमें भी, है ना। चांदी को रज कहते हैं, चांदी को संस्कृत में रजत, right? Silver because it's shiny. It's just, yeah. And so Arjun, interestingly, while born as a prince, is Arjun. He's humble. He's not of the growth mindset की।
कितना सोच समझ के नाम रखना चाहिए ना।
हाँ, तो कितना उसका ये नहीं था कि बढ़ जाए। इधर कह रहा है कि न योध से को न भिक्षा मांगे नहीं प्रपश्यामि ममापनत्या यत् शोकमुशोकन। ये क्या करे, राज्यम सुराणाम, पृथ्वी का राज नहीं चाहिए, ये क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग, नहीं, आई डोंट वांट दिस किंगडम। ये अर्जुन है। तो कहता था, yeah, of course I will have it, I want it, this is mine, है ना। And the Lord is standing in front of Arjun. जो humble हो उसके सामने भगवान है। इसी हमेशा भाषा में कहते हो, I'm with you, don't worry, I'm behind you, I'm with you, move forward, we're all with you, behind you. भगवान हमारे पीछे है, साथ में। ये भगवान सामने है, उसके पीछे नहीं है, है ना। उसका प्रोटेक्ट करके, क्योंकि यह मीक हम्बल एटीट्यूड से अप्रोच कर रहा है। तो सो I don't know where that came from, but Sthita Muniruchate, धीरज से आया था, right? So धी is intellect, और बुद्धि जो कहते हैं हम, जिसमें बोध हुआ हो, जिसमें लाइट आया हो, जिस इंटेलेक्ट, उसको बुद्धि कहते हैं। उसमें फिर अंधकार नहीं हो सकता, एक बार आया तो उसमें फिर कंफ्यूजन नहीं हो सकता। कंफ्यूजन अंधकार में तो अज्ञान कंफ्यूजन से होता है। और बुद्धि हमें मिली है, बुद्धि योगम उपाश्रित्य। भगवान कहते हैं इसी गीता में, इसी अध्याय में, कि बुद्धि का 18वें अध्याय में मोक्ष संन्यास योग, बुद्धि दी है, उसमें योग हुआ है already. You have the rational faculty, intellect, and in it you are already united with me. In it you can understand that you're not separate from me. In it you can transcend this relative and jump into the absolute fearlessly, jump into the absolute, realizing that you, as you know, you does not even exist. It is all just me. And in it, you and me are not different. We're the same. We've limited ourselves to this form and name, and therefore thinking. And so all that is buddhi. We have it. इसलिए मैं कह रहा था कि already have it. If we just make use of it. In the 10th chapter also, विभूति योग में वो कहते हैं कि वो तो सब तैयारी लगी है, मैं दिया जला देता हूँ। जो प्रार्थना करते, जो those who want it, he says, those who pursue it, I make sure that I light that lamp in it. The lamp is there, the wick is there, the oil is there, everything is there. I just ignite it. इस प्रकार से जो विचार करे. So Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha. Even just these words are so soothing. Sukheshu vigataspraha. Avita raga bhaya krodha sthitadir muniruchyate. Yes sarvatran abhisneha tat tat prapya shubha shubham. Na abhinandati na dveshti tasya pradnya pratishtita. So तो उसके लक्षण आगे कहे जा रहा है. And again, notice, doesn't matter what they wear, what they look like, how tall or high, or what skin color, which religion, which saint, which guru, which ashram, which nationality, where they're born, which caste, creed, none of it. It could be anywhere, because everyone has it. Human form में अगर है तो. यह सर्वत्र. And then what I think what we'll do is when we stop, you all tell me when to stop. We should. Okay, we got some time. We should say these words. I has ना संस्कृत में recite करे एक दो बार तो, not with the intention to memorize, but the objective to appreciate, recognize and appreciate and feel it and absorb it. So yaha, like this, sarvatra, everywhere, abhisneha, na abhisneha. Again, these prefixes and suffixes qualify the main idea. Sneha, we all know that this fondness. You know, sneha is being fond. Sneha is this, not quite love exactly. Abhi prem nahi tak nahi pata. Sneha, I'm fond of her, fond of him, fond of it. Fondness. So abhi sneha is like in the background always. Whatever I'm fond of, no abhisneha. When there is nothing and no one in life that I'm particularly fond of, that I particularly like or want to keep or hope that does not go away from me, anything of the world, in the world, sarvatra, anywhere in this here around me. Yeah, when that mindset, when that happens in the mindset, yes, sarvatra abhisneha, tat prapya, shubha ashubham. What is he talking about? Fondness nahi hoga, कि शुभ मिले अथवा अशुभ मिले, with favorable or unfavorable, that which is good for me, I think, or that which I believe is not good for me, that which should not have happened or should have happened, the right and the wrong, both. So when I don't start salivating, pani tapakna na shuru kare, when something good is happening, I like this, may there be more of this, this is nice, this is good, bring it on. ऐसा जब न हो, और उसके उल्टा भी न हो, अरे यार ये क्या हो रहा है, oh no, my God, that's so terrible. ऐसा भी जब न हो, शुभ और अशुभ, या सर्वत्र अभिस्नेहा तत् प्राप्य शुभाशुभम, न अभिनंदति. Abhinandati is Nanda, and then Ananda comes from Nanda. It's all sourced in Nanda Nandan. The joy, Nanda is joy. Nanda Baba. His father was joyful always. Yeah. So Abhinandan, na Abhinandati. Congratulations. Felicitations. ये वो जो हम लोग उछल कूद करते हैं, oh wow, great, awesome, amazing, thumbs up, great, cool, ये सब अभिनंदन की जो बातें हैं, खुद के लिए है, अपने लिए या दूसरों के लिए. न अभिनंदती न द्वेष्टि. जब बहुत पॉजिटिव हो रहा है, ऐसा कुछ लग रहा है, तब बहुत इधर नाच कूद नहीं कर रहा है, और जब कोई नेगेटिव हो रहा है, ऐसा लग रहा है, तो एकदम नीचे बैठ गए, एकदम मायूस हो गए, एकदम डिप्रेस हो गए. ऐसा भी नहीं हो रहा है. या सर्वत्र अभिस्नेहा तत् प्राप्य शुभाशुभम, न अभिनंदति न द्वेष्टि, तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. Of him or her, of that person, pragya. This is the first time that, well, this ke pehle bhi aaya tha. Maybe we should shed some light on that word also, because it is very significant in the Upanishads and in our belief system, in the truth rather. In truth, it is very significant. Tasya pragya pratishtita. Tishthit is standing. Pratisthit is grounding. कोई खड़ा हो, खंबे को खड़ा कर दिया, just a pole might balance itself, तो थोड़ा सी हवा हुई तो गिर जाएगा, है ना? लेकिन उसको खड्डा खोद के ग्राउंड कर दिया, अंदर घुसा के दबो दिया, तो फिर वो हवा भी आए तो नहीं गिरेगा. So that's the difference between tishtati or pratishtati, that standing and grounding. So uski pragya, uski intellect is pratisthit hai, grounded hai, not just standing hai, anchored hai firmly, है ना? और pragya में gya is gyan. Pra, I told you, concentrated, nothing but. Pra means purest, pure of pure. No? Think of it as, जैसे प्रकाश कहा था. So, pragya would be nothing but pure form of gyan. Why is this significant? Because उपनिषदों में आता है, जब बोध को प्राप्त होते हैं, जब साक्षात्कार होता है अथवा अनुभव भगवान का हो, तो कहते उसके लिए वर्णन किया ऋतम भरा प्रज्ञा. रित से प्रज्ञा भर जाती है ना, भरा प्रज्ञा. बुद्धि में what's left is nothing but light. It's flooded with vibrant, bright illumination, enlightened जिसे कहते हैं. रित से भर जाती है, मतलब higher truth से. रित is, as I had explained once or twice.
ये जो र है और ये जो ऋषि वाला री है, दोनों का मीनिंग में क्या डिफरेंस?
अलग है. र खाली जो र होता है, it's suggestive of friction, indication friction, काटना, तोड़ना. और उसको ऋषि वाला जो र है, that is more like shaping or controlling, purposefully काटना. The ra is like Ari, for example. Ari is enemy, dushman. Or Ari Sudan is Bhagwan ka naam hai, Krishna ka, ki the one who suppresses the dushman, है ना? Ari कहते हम लोग काटते हैं पत्ती, है ना? उसको भी आरा कहते हैं, र से कट जाता है, या. और लेकिन वो ऋषि वाला जो रू है, अलग लिखते भी उसको अलग, उसका शेप भी अलग है, या.
वो मेरे नाम में वही रखी.
अच्छा,
मेरा नाम में स्पेलिंग में RITCH.
हाँ, राइट,
ऋचा नहीं,
राइट,
वो ऋषि वाला री अच्छा.
करेक्ट, या. और वो तो ऋचा में तो वो रुचा होती है, रुचि है, वो तो just no, this different proclivity suggesting. लेकिन वेदों की ऋचा कहते हैं,
वही ऋचा है.
क्योंकि कैसे ज्ञान तो बातें तो हम कुछ भी पढ़ सकते हैं, कुछ भी कह सकते हैं, लेकिन वेदों की ऋचा क्या सजेस्ट करती है कि वही पढ़े, वही सुने, जिससे इन ए रिस्ट्रेन्ड मैनर, जिससे हमारी प्रगति हो रही है, प्रोग्रेस हो रहा है, जिस दिशा में जाना चाहिए उस दिशा में ले जा रही है. वैसे जीरोधर की बात है, ऋचा नहीं,
थोड़ा डिस्क्रिमिनेशन के साथ जाना.
Yes.
Blindly नहीं जाना. That is the meaning of rishi, right?
Right, meaning purposeful, as I said. Purposefully cutting, right? Not just arbitrarily cutting, not just cutting, but very intentional. The intentionality makes all the difference, doesn't it? Any relationship, any conversation we have, any gift we give, anything we do, it really is the intention that, in fact, bhakti is the basis of bhakti is intentionality, right? Otherwise, people go to mandir and offer this, that. लेकिन वो तो दुर्योधन को मेवा त्यागो साग विदुर घर खाई. क्यों? क्योंकि सबसे ऊंची प्रेम सगाई. The intention was different in Duryodhan's mind with मेवा. The intention was very different in विदुर के मन में, उसको खाली सब्जी खिलाया उसमें भी. So it's an intentionality that concentrates the purity, brings the purity, and so that's the difference between the ra and the ra.
तो ऋचा का मतलब तो मुझे पता है कि वेद के मंत्र होते हैं, वेद के श्लोक होते हैं, लेकिन फोनिक्स में इसको काट के संधि विच्छेद करके री मने तो पता चल गया, फिर चा का क्या मतलब है, फिर ये कैसे हुआ?
So is it okay if we take that as a sidebar? Sure. Okay. Definitely. Okay, we can finish this one or two shloks, maybe one more after this, and then we can wrap to it. So so tasya pragya pratishtha, which is shedding light on pragya in terms of ritam bhara pragya. So that r is the rishika rit, जो है जो restrained, intentional जो है ना. और उसको जैसे मैंने higher truth कहा, superior truth. Oh, I thought truth was truth. How can there be grade in truth? Na? So it's like this, similar to the truth in the dream and the truth beyond the dream. They're different. While I'm dreaming, what appears is truth. No one can deny that. It's undeniably the truth for that person at that moment. But at the same time, for the same person at the same place, there is yet a higher truth in which this lower truth is negated, completely negated. इसलिए ये ज्ञान इतने ज्ञानी है, ये सब आता है होता है, ये सब ठीक है, इस सबको नेगेट किया अंत में भगवान में. इसके कोई मतलब नहीं, इसकी कोई कीमत नहीं, इसकी कोई जरूरत नहीं है, उसका कोई फायदा नहीं, इसका कोई कुछ नहीं है.
उदय होने से दीपक का कोई जरूरत नहीं.
So at the time this was the truth and now this is the, but ujala और अंधेरा साथ में नहीं रहते. What I'm talking about is not the opposite of each other. I'm talking about cumulative, right? Concentric circle. That includes it. The person who is sleeping, for that person, the dream reality is, we call it the reality. It is.
For the time being.
Right. But for the very same person, if the state of mind was different, the higher reality, while including the dream reality, would be that there is no dream reality.
Yeah.
And so it's not opposing, it's not crushing it, it's including it, but it's uplifting it. And that's the spirit in Richa, by the way, also. Intentionality to uplift, not to suppress. ऊपर प्रकाश मान कर, अंधेरे से दबाने के नहीं, प्रकाश से उठाने के लिए. कि जो उसमें जो
कहने की negate नहीं करना, लेके चलना है.
Yes, and that is the glory of the Gita, and that is the glory of Krishna, and that is the glory of Sanatana Dharma.
किसी के अस्तित्व को नकार नहीं रहे हैं, पर उसके अस्तित्व को साथ में लेकर के ऊपर जा रहे हैं.
Yes, उसको और uplift करके, क्योंकि in the word itself, astitva is the state of existing. A literal translation of astitva, tva is the state of, asti is existence. Astitva. If it exists, how can I say it doesn't exist? That doesn't make sense. Okay, well, you think this is what exists. Let's go with it. You will see over time that what actually exists is something very different, very, very glorious, far more superior. Astitva ko, है ना? So, because if he is everything and everything is him, then how can there be that, well, this exists and that doesn't exist and ye nahi aur wo nahi hai? So inclusive only, like uplifting only is the path, is the glorious path of Sanatana Dharma, which is why it doesn't really cut anything. There's no place for ninda ke liye athwa. So and hence love alone. This is the path of love. He's the Lord of love. And in the end, in love, we surrender, and we surrender to each other in love, not in the sense of, I'm going to rub my nose at your feet and then just you can trash me and I'll still, what can I do? I have no power. So I'm voluntarily surrendering because I want to align with you, because I see nothing bigger, better, greater, more beautiful, sweeter, any of that than you. And I want nothing else. I wish to be one with you, and therefore aligning. And in the end, he says that, you can leave all this. You can leave all of this if you surrender to me, if you align with me. In the end, because everything is following me. And then, Mama Vartmanu Vartante Manusha Partha Sarvasha. In the 4th chapter, Sri Krishna, 3rd chapter, he says, anyway, everyone who is following my role model, whether or not they know, everyone's just following. Just like the shadow has no choice, is following the person. The world is following me, whether you recognize or not. But if you voluntarily do it, then you're actually walking with me. You're not just the shadow being dragged mercilessly behind me. Then you are actively being engaged, willingly walking with me, different from being dragged behind me. So that's the bahana behind Sharanagati, otherwise very misunderstood as surrendered. So, okay, so that was that. And so today's last shlok, 58. Yada samharate chayam kurmo angani vasarvashaha indriyani indriyarthe abhyas tasya pragya pratishtita. Kurma is tortoise, turtle, kachua, kaso. Yada is like, jaise, similar to. Anga is body, physical form, sharir. Yada kurmo anga niva. Just like the tortoise has the 2 hands, 2 feet, There's the tail, little tail in the back. And then of course, depending on what kind of turtle it is, mundi bhi hoti hai, either always out or snapping andar wali jiski. But they're all, we've seen it within his control. Tortoise is his or her control, can withdraw at will and can project at will. Only when needed, only as much as needed. It's a special creature, special creation. No wonder he became as that, the Kurma avatar, as a tortoise form. Very, very hard, apparently, and extraordinarily soft underneath it. है ना, कछुए के नीचे का एकदम कांटा भी चला जाए, इतना नरम है. और ऊपर से देखे तो तलवार की ढाल बनाते थे पहले. You know, the shields, right? Sword shields were made of turtle shell. So apparently so hard and really so soft. It depends on how you approach him. There's a secret in that. Tasyaham sulabha partha, 8th chapter, 14th shlok. Tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya nyogina. Who says I'm hard? Who says I'm difficult? I'm very easy, Arjun, for those who know how to approach me. And so very hard and yet so soft, very difficult to attain and yet so easy in his own admittance, so easy to attain. It depends on whether you're going over me or coming under me. Yeah? So the under would be the humbler route, जैसे Arjun ने किया था. So although that's not the spirit in this shlok, he's taking us somewhere else with it, but it does come up in the 8th chapter in the 14th shlok, not the reference to the tortoise, but he very clearly says that I am not at all hard, I'm not at all difficult, I'm actually easy. But this is how also. So Indriyani Indriyartha Asya Tasya Pradnya, the one whose senses, sensory receptors, आंखें, नाक, ये वो, right? शब्द स्पर्श रूप रस गंध शब्द विषय है और विषयों के इंद्रिय है. There are different subjects outside of us, away from us, far from us, that we want to connect with, and the way we connect with is our sensor. We have sensors and we project the power of the sensor on the object of the senses. नेत्र ज्योति कहते हैं, नेत्र में ज्योति है, there is, right, प्रकाश in eyes. जो अंधा होता है उसके नेत्र में ज्योति नहीं होती, उसकी आंखों में प्रकाश नहीं, तो आंखें तो है, वस्तु भी है, लेकिन कनेक्ट नहीं हो पा रहे क्योंकि कनेक्ट करने वाली ज्योति नहीं रही. जो बहरा है उसके कान भी है, ध्वनि भी है, लेकिन सुनाई नहीं दे रही क्योंकि वो ईयर ड्रम में वो हैमर हिट करने का फंक्शन नहीं कर रहा है, कनेक्टर नहीं हो रहा है साउंड वाइब्रेशन भेजने का. ऐसे ही नाक का जो भी. So those are the subject, the object, and the sensors. So the one who can at will withdraw and project when needed with purpose, with intention, same theme again, while remaining in control, is the one who is pratishthit, who's grounded, who is the other thing to note is हम लोग प्रतिष्ठित कितनी आसानी से कहते हैं ना, मराठी में तो बहुत ही easily यूज कर देते हैं. प्रतिष्ठित व्यक्ति है, प्रतिष्ठित आदमी है, प्रतिष्ठित लोग है, मंत्री, मिनिस्टर्स, सबका कहते बहुत प्रतिष्ठित है. भाषण में कहते हैं कि मतलब generally used as oh just honored guest, honorary, honorable. यहाँ पे God uses that word in a very, very significant way. Pratishthit is the one who's completely in control at all times, in all ways. So that's the spirit behind it. Just like a tortoise can project and withdraw at will, similarly the 5 senses that we've got, and then the mind, like the turtle, snapping turtle, dangerous. एकदम फटाक से पता है. ऐसे ही मन भी dangerous है. कब कहाँ जाके काट ले, खा ले, समझ ले, कुछ ले, क्या कर ले, पता नहीं था. So the ones who have control over it are. So we'll stop here. We covered 5 shloks today, not bad, in a small bit, but these are also significant. Again, the difference is Arjun starts in the physical form and nowhere does it touch the physical form, perhaps suggesting that physical form might remain the way it is from before enlightenment, or has nothing to do with, which then suggests that it doesn't matter whether it's a woman or a man or of what kind, as long as it's a human, that it is easily and equally possible. I take a lot of hope in it, hope and I hope with that hope that you do as well, that it is all accessible and available to us all equally. There is equity built in. This whole REI, DEI was born in the Gita, the race, equity, inclusion, the diversity. It overflows through the Gita everywhere in it. I mean, I might say with the challenge that I think any major new fad principle that comes up is somewhere to be found in some seed form in the Gita, in the deep wisdom of it. Yeah. So let's stop here. Let's do some more dhyan, and then we'll do our Bhagavad Chacha on these. I might. Well, we were going to recite a couple of sloks, right? Would you like to do that? Okay. Yeah, right. We reverberate through the walls. So maybe we will do all 6 or 5 shloks that we did today. So now when you say Arjun, you will know what you're talking about. Arjun was not just a man, the humblest of the humble, right? Yeah. So the way this goes is Arjuna Uvacha. So Arjuna Uvacha Sthita Pragyasya. So Sthita Pragyasya. Now you know what this means. Sthita is established, grounded. Gya is Gyan. Pragya is concentrated Gyan, this faculty that we have only in the human form. So Sthita Pragyasya. Ka Bhasha. So Bhasha is language. So how do they speak? Samadhi. Stha. Sya. Samadhisthasya. Again, stha is securely grounded. The one who is not just standing, but is actually grounding would be stha. So samadhi is the one who is securely lodged in samadhi. The one who is doing a 72-hour samadhi or a 12-day samadhi would not be samadhisthasya, because at the end of 12 hours or 72 hours, they'd get up and start walking. Samadhisthasya would have to be one who's ever in samadhi, right? And therefore sahaja samadhi, we went over that. So samadhisthasya Keshava. Some other time, this Keshava is a beautiful name of Sri Krishna. It has significance. We'll cover some other time. One quick one is it's also the annihilator of demons, but there's other meanings to it also. Shava is dead body, and Keshava would be the one who enlivens the dead body. The one without whom the body is dead, Shava, would be the Keshava. So then I'm going to say this line again. Sthita pragyasya bhasha.
Sthita pragyasya
Ka bhasha. Samadhistasya Keshava.
Samadhisthasya Keshava.
Sthita dihi. Dhi is buddhi, intellect. Kim, meaning how. Prabhashit. That's the specific usage of language. Right? So Sthita dihi kim prabhashit. Kim asit. How do they sit? Vrajet kim. How do they walk? And so I'll say this line again. Sthita dihi kim prabhashit. Kim asit vrajet kim. And so the next, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Very, very powerful word. It has 3 words. And Uvacha is the easiest of them all, which means it's and said thus. Uvacha is said thus. Aise kahe, aise bole. Who? Bhagavan. We've defined Bhagavan based on the scriptures previously. Gyan, Gun, Aishwarya, Samartha, all that. Shri is Sampanna, opulent. With what? With his 6 attributes. The most beautiful, the most powerful, the most detached, the most opulent, the most in control, all those will be the one who would be designated as Shri. So So when we say Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, we're talking about the ultimate, the final, the supreme, said thus. And so Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Prajahati.
Prajahati.
Now you know Ha is death, Ja is born, Jaha is killing that which is born, and Pra is permanently. So Prajahati Yada Kaman.
Prajahati Yada Kaman.
So killing what? The Kamana, desires. Where? Sarvan
Sarvan.
Partha
Partha.
Manogatan.
Manogatan.
Partha is Arjun's name because he was the son of Pritha, Kunti's name. Her name was Pritha because she was the daughter of a Vanshaja Prithuraja. Jisse Prithvi Shabda Nikla. We call it Prithvi, earth. So, and hence he was an incarnation of God, a partial incarnation. So, Prithu se Pritha, Pritha se Partha. So, kare Parth, मन में होगी सभी काम सर्वान पार्थ मनोगतान. So we'll say this line again. Prajahati yada kaman.
Prajahati Yada Kaman.
Sarvan partha manogatan.
Sarvan Partha Manogatan.
Atmani
Atmani.
eva
Eva.
atmana
Atmana.
tushta.
Tushta.
Tushta is satiated, steeped, completely satisfied. Eva is alone. So when one is satiated in Atma, alone by the Atma, when oneself is completely satisfied with oneself alone, that's Atmaneva Atmana Tushta, Sthita Prajna,
Sthita Pragni.
Tad Uchate.
Tad Uchatyate.
That one is known as or called as Sthita Prajna, the securely grounded Prajna, whose intellect is securely grounded. So let's say this line again. Atmanyeva Atmana Tushta.
Atmani Eva Mana Tushta.
Sthita Prajnas Tadochate.
Sthita Pragnasya Tadochyate.
I'm recording all this and I will post all this so that towards the end of this, if anyone wants to go back, they can rewind and slow down and learn it again. So the next one, Dukkeshu
Keshu.
An Ud Vig Mana.
An
Mana.
An Ud Vigna Mana.
An Udvigna Mana.
Yeah, so remember that trident here. Veg hai, Agni hai, और उद भी है. तीनों एक साथ जो है क्रोध में आते हैं. दुखेशु आन, लेकिन नहीं है आन. दुखेशु अनुद्विग्न मनाः. दुखेशु अनुद्विग्न
Udvigna Manaha.
सुखेशु
Keshu.
विगत स्पृहा.
Vigata Spraha.
Praha is thirst. Vigata is all gone, completely gone. Kiski? Sukhesh, Sukhi. So Sukheshu Vigata Spraha.
Keshu Vigata Spraha.
Just like a financially independent, fully retired, wealthy billionaire will no longer seek a job because they already have what a job would bring. And therefore, no one, that person would not seek any more sukha because they're already satiated. No? The Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. Vita is putting off, extinguished. What? Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha.
Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha.
Sthitadhi,
Sthitadi.
Muni,
Muni.
the thinker, the contemplator, Uchate.
Chite.
That thinker who brings the thoughts into behavior securely. And what behavior? How does it show up? Oh, there is no rag, there is no bhaya, there is no krodh. Not afraid of anyone and not making anyone else afraid. Not angry with anyone and not making anyone else angry. And not attached to anyone and not trying to hold on to, or not trying to latch on to anyone either. So that's showing up in behavior, not just a thinker. So then we'll repeat this line again and then we'll move to the next one. Vitaraga bhaya krodha
Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha
sthitadhir muniruchyate.
Sthitadhir Munir Uchyate.
Perfect, Sanjeev. You nailed this one. And then the next one, yah
Yaha
sarvatra
sarvatra
Sarvastra
na abhisneha.
na
Na
abhisneha.
Abhisneha.
Sneha is fond. Abhi is like constantly in the background, fond of this or fond of that. No would be not like that, not ever fond of anything. And sarvatra at all places. Yah is when. So yah sarvatra
Ya Sarvastra
na abhisneha
Na
Na
abhisneha.
Abhisneha
tat tad prapya,
Tat Prapya.
meaning this and that, obtaining shubha ashubham.
Shubha Ashubham.
All this good and the bad and the ugly and everyone in between, obtaining which one who is not. So that's the idea there. So yas sarvatra abhisneha
Yes,
Yat Sarvastra
nabhisneha
Nabhisneha.
Abhisneha.
tat tat prapya shubha ashubham
Tat Prapya Shubham.
na abhinandati,
Na Abhinandati.
not jumping up and down, na dveshti,
Na Dveshti.
nor morose, sad, na abhinandati na dveshti
Na Abhinandati. Na Dveshti.
tasya pragya
Tatsya Pragya.
pratishthaha.
Pratishtaha.
That one is truly honorable, whose mind, brain, intellect does not waver up and down depending on the circumstance, grounded in himself or herself. And then the last one, yada samharate cha ayam,
Cha Ayam.
yada samharate chayam
Yada Samharte Chayam.
kurmo
Urmo.
angan
Angan.
eva sarvasha,
Eva Sarvashaha.
kurmo angan eva sarvasha.
Urmo Anga
So now you know kurma is tortoise, anga is the body, and sarvasha at all times, everywhere, wherever it floats or swims. So indriyani,
Indriyani.
indriyarthe,
Indriyarte.
indriya is the senses, and indriyon ke arth, the subjects. Indriyani indriyarthe,
Indriyani Indriyarte.
tasya
Tatsya
pragya
Pragya.
pratishtita.
Pratishtaha.
That was our last shloka for today. Wonderful, thank you. This is great. So let's pause here and then we'll do maybe five or so minutes of dhyan.
No, I'm good. No. I just didn't want up my feet to show my feet. That's why I covered it with this. I'm good. Thank you. The music is there. Go to-
Ye straight. Jaake left.